was to this day, and I actually don't even know who facilitated
whose idea really was it. Perhaps, like, maybe my PR team was, like, just, like, hide her. And I don't even know who my PR was at the time.
But that's a really, like, big point to hear you say that. Because I saw how genuinely you were realizing you actually still to this day don't even know who facilitated
that. Like, my mom is a grown-up. Like, maybe we should have just got in the car. Like, we're just going to leave.
You can just,
Like, we could just leave.
But this thing had just gotten so big that it was, like, all these different people controlling. And you guys were like, okay,
I wonder who was running my life. I don't know.
Did your parents see any of that OK Magazine money?
No, they did not. I mean, they did not. That money went to, obviously, my baby.
Okay.
My now 13-year-old, but, you know.
What were some of the headlines you remember reading about yourself when the news finally broke that you were pregnant?
Well, as we know, that's when it was, like, tabloid. It was high time of tabloids. And so, again, I get wanting to protect me from it, but also, I moved to Mississippi. I built my big ass gate around my house. I was trying to just, look, I get it. I'm pregnant. I'm a 16-year-old. But I also am just trying to figure my shit out.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. I still would have 15 paparazzi on me. And in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi, like, what are you doing here? I'm not walking down the middle of Beverly Hills asking for this.
Right.
And being called a slut, so many different names of who the baby daddy was and all these kinds of things was just completely, it broke my heart. I'm about to have a baby. And, like, honestly, what made me more mad was, like, I don't want my daughter to think that her mom's a piece of shit. And, like, now you've already done that and she's not even here yet. And also, I don't want my daughter to ever read a headline that she ruined my career or something. Because that's not true. And they're so irresponsible. How could they say that? How could these grown-ups say that to? I was still a minor. Whether I was having a child or not, I was still a little girl having a baby. Yeah, that's a lot. And then for people to go ahead and predestine another little girl's, how she might feel about this. And we say we're better, but no, we just do it on the internet, on people's social media, and hide behind it. At least the magazines had enough balls to put it on their cover.
You're so right. Like, I didn't think about that when you were like, my child's going to grow up and there's Google and read that. And it's like, you
printed it proudly on your magazine. You said it on national TV. I mean, this was like news stations you watch in the morning, like these grown-ups saying these things. Could you imagine saying that about a young child? Wouldn't you be like, oh my God, this child is going to have this baby. Like, we need to all, as a freaking world, rally around these people that are making whatever. It just doesn't even matter. The point is, it's like, it was like I was a kid.
This magazine release of your pregnancy announcement was also how your sister found out you were pregnant.
Apparently, and, like, this again is something, like, I don't even know who put me where I was at, but at the same time, like, why couldn't I tell my sister that was what I was told was the best thing to do? And I just didn't even have the energy to fight back, you know?
Brian knew, your mom, your dad knew, and Brittany was the only one that didn't know. And you wrote, they said it was too risky to tell Brittany about the baby. Why would it have been risky to tell Brittany about the baby?
I don't really know. I mean, maybe, like, they thought because maybe she would say something before the article came out.
Did you, like, what, like, when they came to you and told you, don't tell Brittany, like...
But they didn't tell me don't tell Brittany. It was just like, you tell no one anything. And, like, I was thinking maybe, like, they were going to call in Brittany too. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just knew that, like, of course, like, honestly, I needed her more than... Could you imagine what a difference it probably would have made if I was able to have my sister then?
And you were just kind of like, at that point, like...
I had to surrender to it. I was a minor, number one, and number two. Like,
what do you think you think they were just thought, like, she may just, like, tell it, like, casually?
No,
and, like...
I think that Brittany was obviously going through her own shit, but I think I was so absorbed in my own shit that I couldn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel stupid, too. Like, why didn't I know? But then again, I had to go, like, you were 16. I was consumed with, like, you know, I wanted to, like... be around the dad. I mean, you know, you're so consumed with all this dumb shit.
That makes sense. You're like, I want to try to make it work with the dad. Like, I'm 16 and pregnant. Like,
I was more concerned about talking to him than I was anybody.
That makes sense.
You know, like, I was like, why can't I talk to the dad? Well, like, for a while there, I couldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was like, and I remember there was somebody in my life who was like, I mean, the deed's already done, so what are they really trying to keep you from him for? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
What,
the worst has happened. You were
like,
pregnant.
We're pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to keep me away.
Yeah.
What happened when Brittany finally found out?
I imagine that, like, no matter what and where or what kind of state of mind that any of us were in, it, like, that's hard. I just can't believe that they wouldn't have made sure she knew. Like, I just can't believe that somebody wouldn't have done that.
Did you guys ever have a conversation about it?
I think that maybe she might forget that I was a kid then, and she might feel like I also didn't tell her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at first that was like something that maybe was harmful and hurtful to her. But I was hurting just back because I was kind of pissed off. Like, I want my sister here. Why isn't she coming to save me? But then also not understanding that she's on the other end of the world. Like, where's my, so.
Right.
But I was a kid then too. So I think that we had to like kind of understand, like, I didn't know.
While you're in the early stages of teen pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
your sister is dealing with her own struggles.
Yeah.
A month after your pregnancy announcement, Brittany is hospitalized and held for mental evaluation twice in 1 month. What triggered those hospitalizations?
Now, this time was extreme, like, disassociation for me. Extreme. I don't know if it's because I wanted to not have anything to do with that world, with the public, because I was so burnt out on it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was, like, not speaking to anyone, kind of. Like, as soon as, I got, threatened them with emancipation, and then I kind of had, like, closed myself off from all of that. And my dad was handling that, and I think my mom was with me. And I didn't know what was going on, and I wasn't let in to know. I think, like, I was kind of just, like, I was just an afterthought. Like, they didn't want to tell me anything. I had no idea. I saw it like the rest of the world. And I was never told the details of anything.
That happened to your sister with you.
Yeah.
Your sister didn't know what was happening with you when you were in the cabin. And so then when something's happening with your sister, you're also now not let in on that information when you guys are...
And I was very used to that because, like, I was the baby of the family. So, like, of course I didn't expect, like, my parents, like, run shit by me or anything.
Right.
But then again, too, I mean, I could see that my sister was hurting, but I didn't know what the right thing to do with anything was, and clearly, like, the adults will know what they're doing, right? Like,
were you guys, like, talking ever, or was that a time where...
Before, when I was still in LA, like, I'd still go stay over there and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did become more so about, like, I didn't like the people around her, so I just didn't really want to be around that.
You just referenced it. That's what I was going to ask you about. You're pregnant at the time. You didn't have a job. You describe desperately trying to regain control of your life and your finances before your baby is born. You take legal action against your parents at the age of 16. Can you explain why you decided to attempt to get emancipated from your parents?
It became the point where, like, okay, I'm pregnant. Everyone knows. I thought the reason y'all were keeping me so locked away like a princess was because of the story. Well, the story's out now. Everybody knows I'm pregnant. So what are we doing now? Why am I still being monitored like this? I didn't understand that, like, and also told when I could and couldn't see the father of my child. And I wasn't expecting to, like, have everything I wanted all in one setting, but I did expect that, like, I would be able to, it's almost like maybe if, like, they made it not exist enough, it didn't exist. I don't know. But it got to the point where, like, I was so monitored that I even, I was able to I got my GED. And so, like, I would go to those studies and I would go do that kind of stuff. And then I was able to do, like, a few other things, but I had to, like, tell them where I was. I was very much monitored. So,
and when you say tell them, who are you?
I would tell my mama, but, like, my mama would run everything by these people, like, I guess my team, whoever they were, and that made me mad too. I was like, Mom, be strong enough, like.
So you're getting monitored by these people. Like, this is like
everyone had to say so, I guess, and what I had to do. And honestly, I'm only hearing it from, like, my mom, but I know that she's being controlled, and I know that she doesn't want to upset anybody, and, like, I don't know who to blame there. I don't know if there is anybody to blame, but I just know what I experienced. I knew that I wasn't allowed to do certain things. But at this point in time, I'm having a baby. Like, I got to start kind of preparing for it. I don't want to live at my mom's house and have a baby.
Right.
I need to go look at houses.
Why do you think they were monitoring you so closely?
I don't know, but I know that, like, I don't know. Like, what was there to monitor anymore? Right. I'm pregnant. And, I wasn't speaking to my father at this time. So I went and I remember, like, I looked at some houses or whatever, and, like, I thought maybe, okay, things are going to get better.
Right.
Well, then I was very quickly told, like, no, like, I saw, like, they don't, like, wanted me to like live at my mom's house and like have this baby. And I was just like, fucking no, I'm not doing that. So I called my friend up, who is my very best friend, and I said, look, I need to talk to somebody legally. I know I'm a minor. I'm in a weird situation. So I would lie and say I was going to doctor's appointments. I would go meet with a lawyer, and I did this a couple times, gave all the facts, what I was going through, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know, I want to emancipate them. I was wondering what my options were. I'd really never heard of these things. You know, I was like, what are my options? Like, legally, this is my own money. Legally, this is like, I want to have control over it. I'm having a baby, blah, blah, blah. And so they actually told me I could be emancipated. So then what I did is finally decided the day I was going to serve them with these papers. And the other option is if they did not sign off on this, legally, there's some loophole in the law where I could go get married if I'm pregnant and a judge would marry me. Oh. Even though I was a minor, there's some loophole, and I'm probably quoting that wrong. Okay. But there was a loophole that I knew about that I could do if they did not legally emancipate me.
Got it.
But by doing that would mean that I would have no prenup or anything to protect myself. At the end of the day, my mom was basically like, and my family at that point, like, look, we're not going to let her, what she's worked hard since a young age to create, be at risk. So if we can just come to a compromise of you go do whatever it is that you need to do and live your life. If things go horribly wrong, we still, as parents, we can step in, you know, and that's what we ended on. So I never had to officially emancipate them, but I did that day. I just loaded up on my shit and left.
Did you feel after that though, like, did you actually regain control of your finances? Like when you were asking them, did it clicked?
Yeah. And I was not somebody who was like, I just want to go spend all my money. I very much was like, look, these are the things I'm trying to do. Right. Please guide me the right way to do it. I wanted to buy a home. I wanted to, you know, set up a life for myself. It was pretty simple, what I wanted.
Now knowing your whole story, like, it is interesting to learn that Britney Spears was not the first Spears to take legal action against her parents to be like, I want my life and my money back. And there's small similarities happening right now. The fact that you're like, I don't know who made those decisions for me. I don't know what, like
this whole other universe on the phone or something, right? You know?
And then they're dictating your entire life. You actually were like, okay, fuck this. I gotta stand up for myself. You give birth in June of 2008, but at this point, like, you don't have a job. Like, the OK Magazine check would only go so far. Did you ever ask your sister for money? Did she ever offer?
Never. I never asked my sister for money. And I will say that, like, not only did I make good money off of Zoe, but the check was not small.
Switching gears here, kind of like to like the public perception of you. Social media is like this unnecessary evil that comes with this industry, and I talk about it with a lot of people that come on my show, and you have been getting annihilated on the internet recently. What are the comments you get that are the most hurtful?
That I didn't do anything to try to help my sister. I very much did many things.
February 1st, 2008, your father files for conservatorship over your sister. Why did you not speak out on social media? Your father struggled to parent. What qualified him to be a FIC? When did you come to realize that this conservatorship was infringing on Britney's rights? You were involved in the conservatorship.
Wrong. Never involved in the conservatorship.
There is a huge piece of this story that is missing.